Hello, everyone. It's a beautiful Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Veronica Danik-Boy. With me, as usual, I'm my lovely co-host. Welcome, ladies. Good morning.
Excellent morning.
Well, also we have our wonderful audience in the studio. Welcome to the show. We know it's not easy, but thank you for coming. Ladies, how are you doing? Nima, I didn't see you yesterday. I missed you, you know, right? I missed you.
What kind of love? You missed her.
So unbelievable. Thank you. I used to think that once I get out of here, out of your hair, but thank you.
Oh my God. Yeah. Out of my hair, but not
I
out of
missed
my
you
head.
too.
Exactly.
But I hope you are nurturing my agbalumo, please.
Yes, it is.
Thank
See,
you.
they're ripe now. The last time you came, they were not ripe on the tree.
rained.
Well, yes, you are right. So, and there's so many on the tree. Please, you have to come and climb. Since she's a climber, then we hold the basket
You want
at
the
the
world
bottom
to know
of
who
the
I
tree.
am, right? All right, ladies. So how was yesterday, Nima?
Yesterday was a busy, very busy day. But I took my son to school and I was amazed to see that, you know, he was very comfortable in school. This is a boy that would never leave mommy. And I was standing there and he was just playing with his mates, having fun. That was a big relief.
Shows he has grown.
Yes, he has. And today is a very busy day for me. I've piled up a lot of work and all the clients are coming into the office today to either sign or do one thing or the other. I don't know how I'm going to wing it, but I hope to get on by 4.
Of course you
You'll
will.
be all right.
I want to get on by 4.
All right, Marianne.
Yesterday, I went for I don't know, it's not a service of songs. One of my husband's friend's father-in-law passed on. And then they had a service for him. It was so beautiful. He's an older person, but it was such a beautiful event, you know. Nicely and quietly done. There was music.
Well organized.
Yeah, well organized, but it was just the music, the soloists that sang. Beautiful voices.
I heard the
And I just remember sitting, and I was just thinking in my mind that, when I go, I would like something like this too, you know. When I go in 100 plus years, I would like something like that. It was so beautiful.
I think I would just love a bit of quiet when I live.
Yeah.
Because I'm a noisy person naturally, so let everybody just
Interesting. All right, Obi.
I'm doing great. You know, I told myself this year that I had 3 points agenda to follow this year. So health, wealth, and wisdom. So I started on the wisdom. I've been reading. I finished 2 books for the month of January already. Yes. That lady that came on the show, Shola, that gave us that Beat It acronym for finances. I finished her book. Is amazing. Wow. Okay. I have Wednesdays as no spend money day. So today, 50 kobo will not leave my purse for anything. I'm not buying anything.
Jam somebody in traffic.
No, I'm not jamming anybody in traffic. Then also, I've been doing exercises and all my body hurts. But I hope to continue. I pray I don't give up before the end of the month.
I know. You know, sometimes you just start up and start at the beginning of the year, and then by the middle of the year, you just get tired.
How are you?
Oh, God.
Yes.
I'm fine.
Red looks good on you.
Thank you. I said, let me go the way of red today. Let's see how it looks. Thank you so much.
So what did you do yesterday?
He's very well.
How was your night?
Fine,
you know what I mean?
restful.
That's the wrong question.
No, my night was restful.
She's answering.
You should have said, how is it my business? Because it's a private affair.
No, you asked me and I'm saying it was restful.
You were just resting.
Restful, please.
Nigerians are watching.
I'm not wiking. I'm not to be wiking.
You may never get anything out of my mouth, Nima. I have told you. I know how to handle it.
Okay, now you're a project. I'll work on it before you're done.
Well, right now, when we return, the front page reviews starts. Just stay with us. Well, thank you for staying with us. Let's go straight to the papers. And the screaming headline is the NLC fumes as Council of State fixes minimum wage at 27,000 naira. Labour to hold emergency meeting on Friday. That's coming from the Punch. Fire Me fires Ekiti Varsity VC. Others. FG declares Lassa fever outbreak. NAF redeploys 72 senior officers. Family blames AKDC as falling wire electrocutes Lagos trader. That's a really sad one there. Now, CBN cautions federal government against rising debt. Danjuma alleges plot to rig, says Nigeria's democracy primitive. CCT rejects court orders stopping Onogen's trial. Reps pass bill criminalizing estimated billing. If we expose those in Buhari government, they'll not only go to jail, they'll go to hell, says Obasanjo. He's continued talking. All right, who has what story?
I have the
major
human,
headline.
I have the human interest story.
Okay, let's start with that.
Yes. Okay. So the family of Fausat Amole, she was a trader. She was in her shop, which is a container, the containers that they use for. So she was in the shop on this particular day. A high tension wire dropped on the container and electrocuted her while she was sleeping in her shop. And she was rushed to the hospital, but sadly she lost her life. There was one other person who survived it, but she lost her life. So the family is demanding justice from the Eco Disco, because I mean, this is not the first time we've heard a story like this, and I've always wondered, who do you hold accountable for incidents like these?
This story is of concern to me because you know, I was saying just now that we should criminalize this kind of, this is a murder case if we look at, you know, the indices.
How is it?
But then again, if her shop is under a power line, which of course
That's
is
where my point
restricted,
is.
then she might not have a defense. But for electricity distribution companies, these are your assets. Transformers and all those things. If when you buy, you have to transfer ownership to them. They should ensure that it's well maintained and protect citizens.
And then
from this kind of
containers should not be
dangers.
kept under, because early this year, a woman lost about 2 or 3 of her children to this kind of incidents. They were inside a container, and then the power line came down, and that was what happened.
Because we've had people who are just walking out of their homes and the high tension wire drops.
I'm saying that we have to take caution.
We all have to take precautions. So the NLC,
let's take NLC in another paper. Reps have passed criminalizing estimated billing.
That's
God bless Honorable Bajabia Amila, our representative at the House of Assembly, Federal House of Assembly, who pushed this bill and it's been passed. So very soon we're going to see the law compelling the discos to distribute prepaid meters, which is what everybody is asking for sanity.
I think yesterday, people were protesting against, this estimated billing and all of that. So perhaps this will push through. Who has any other story there?
Okay. Headlines somewhere else.
Okay, let's go to the Daily Sun now. As Council of State pegs minimum wage at 27,000 naira, Labour to federal government, no. Wow. Workers prepare for showdown as presidency offers 30,000 naira. The FG declares Lassa fever national outbreak, 60 cases recorded in 8 states. Whoa. Obasanjo, Masteriga, Tinubu. Facebook stops political adverts from outside Nigeria. CBN warns against Nigeria's rising debts, retains MPR at 14%. Again, Onogen absent at CCT trial. Shooting at Abiaguba debate venue. Student take over venue, demand to meet governor. So are we taking the major headline now?
No, we can move it. The Abiaguba, yes, that's a shooting. So there was this pandemonium yesterday while they were having they planned to have the debate, gubernatorial debate. So first of all, after the debate, a few of them, because they were asked to pay 1 million to participate in the debate. So the candidates who didn't have 1 million were not able to debate. Then afterwards, the students barricaded the area. They wanted the governor to address them, which he did not want to do. So while they didn't let him go, his security officials shot into the air. There was pandemonium. A lot of people fell into the gutters. They got injured and all of that. So I'm just more concerned that, so even after you've gotten that mandate to go represent your people to, contest as the governor, you still need to pay another 1 million naira to participate in a debate. I think that is more like ripping off. We should look into it. It's too expensive.
Let me take this last. Yeah, Lassa fever. So the DG of NCDC, Dr. Chikwe Ihekwazu, has said that there are about 60 cases as of January this
13th,
year.
yes.
60 confirmed cases of Lassa fever, and they're in states like Edo, Ondo, the FCT, Ebonyi, Nasarawa, Plateau, and Taraba states. Of course, they said that because they've had this recurring, they are prepared, you know, for issues like this, but they're also asking us to, take caution, be more hygienic, wash your hands, protect, make sure you store your foods, differently and rat-proof.
Fever is not like Ebola. You would have seen the results faster than
reoccurring.
But it keeps reoccurring, and it's been since 2017. Unfortunately, we are people with very poor waste management policies, very poor. Especially in Lagos, we still have those issues. Even though Visionscape has given up, we are still, facing Loma issues every day. We can't continue to have this kind of threats, and government doesn't have at least a reactionary, even if not proactive measure towards it.
I think about 16 persons have been confirmed dead, according to reports. Well, we'll move to the Vanguard now. Aftermath of hot exchanges, Buhari Obiji greets NCS okays 27,000 naira minimum wage. FG to pay 30,000 naira. NAS gets minimum wage bill today. Jonathan Saraki Abdusalami at NCS meeting. IBB Gowon absent. Labour rejects disparity, insists on 30,000 naira. Well, we'll move on to other stories. TY Danjuma raises an alarm over plans to rig 2019 elections. INEC, fresh plot to rig election uncovered as politicians hijack recruitment of returning collation officers. You're an election rigger without peer. Tinubu blasts Obasanjo. Atiku not a messiah, but better than Buhari, Obasanjo says. CCT panel split over CJN's trial. FG insists he must step aside. And controversy trails seized property, cash of late kidnapped kingpin e-money. CBN cautions federal government on external borrowing. So, are we taking the major story now?
Yes, the National Council of State has fixed the new minimum wage to be 27,000 naira. That's 3,000 short of what the tripartite committee said that they were going to pay. 30,000 naira. Now, NLC has rejected it, saying that you do not have a right to reverse what the tripartite committee had presented and everybody had agreed on. So they want to have an emergency meeting on Friday to decide the next step, what to do next. But everybody should just be on hold.
NLC.
Okay.
Calm down. Yes. The National Council of State is at most a persuasive authority in the scheme of things. It's not an executive arm. They sit, they're constituted by the former heads of state, former presidents, former chief justices, former sitting presidents and all that, former leaders of the country, and at most whatever resolution they reach is persuasive on the executive. But the federal government has gone ahead.
The NAS is to get the minimum wage bill today.
So
whatever happens.
And the federal government have said they would pay federal government staff 30,000.
Why the disparity is the next question.
So they are willing to go ahead. What the National Council of States is saying is trying to, to mediate into the issues, because of course the state governors are against this.
Yes, they say they can't afford it.
They can't afford it.
Yeah, they
I think they should
anyway,
leave it at 30,000.
Mariam, your story on the controversy trails.
We'll take it
in property
New
cash.
Telegraph.
Okay, let's move on quickly then. To the New Telegraph, Labour spurs for war, rejects 27,000 naira new minimum wage. NLC, TUC, ULC kick against Council of State's approval. Ngige FG will implement 30,000 naira for federal workers. Sanwo-Olu secures a $5 billion trade commitment from Swiss investors. Polls, EU tasks INEC security agencies on neutrality with no facts on threats to election. Council of State. Well, blood tests may diagnose Alzheimer's earlier, and 98 senators absent as lack of quorum stalls plenary. MPC retains lending rate at 14% as CBN declares economy strong. Ogumonaks ensure Akinlade's victory. Why we can't remove subsidy on fuel or Shibaju? Or B, we are only subsidizing in efficiency. Any story here?
Is that my
Do you have a story there?
Yes, I do have a story.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the suspected kidnapper, you forgot to read that. Yes. Collins Ezenwa, he's also known as E-Money.
Yes.
He's a kidnapper. He used to be a police corporal up until November 27th when he was found to be part of a gang, that have been terrorizing people in the south, and southeast. And so in a gun battle in 1st of January this year, he was killed. The wife has come out to say that, the police have taken over his assets and they're using them for their personal, for their personal use. And she specifically called the head of the IRT, that is the Police Intelligence Response Team, DCP Abakari, as being the one who is taking, making use of her late husband's assets. He has come to say that these stories are lies and they're false, and that it is really sad that the media and whoever it is, social media, carries this story without verifying. He says that they've been trying to negotiate with the police, to get the case out of their command, and also, to make sure that this doesn't go any further and they get scot-free, go scot-free. So, and that is why they've come out to bastardize the police, for want of a better word.
We have to wrap it up now because we have to go on a break. That's the much we can take from the newspaper headlines this morning. Well, next on Hot Topic, we discuss ACP Abayomi's advice to women on rape. Later on, let's talk. We'll continue our series on etiquette. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
Thank you for staying with us. The Assistant Commissioner of Police, Abayomi Shogunle, recently advised women on how to prevent being raped. Now, according to him, women, quote, should stop visiting the house of any man who they have refused to date.
Wow.
What are your thoughts on this? Join the conversation on 070-8066-8014. Tweet to us at TVC Connect with the hashtag YourViewTVC. If you refuse to date a man, do not go to his house.
Simple.
Really?
What are you finding up and down?
Is that the remedy to rape? Really?
That isn't the remedy to rape, because we know that those people who engage in rape, they can rape anywhere. You don't really necessarily have to visit them. We hear stories that they rape kids, they rape, they come in and they just rape. So it's not because you are in a relationship and you visit or you just want to see a friend. And so that's not the reason for rape. But he is speaking to a particular sect of women. It didn't
seem like he was speaking to a particular sect.
He may not come out generally to say I'm talking to a particular kind of people. But I know people in those shoes who they know in their hearts they don't want to have anything to do with this man. And then they carry their two legs, visit the man, let the man do some things to a certain area, then you hear stop. Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yes. No. I've seen it. I've heard a lot of stories that it happens that way, and then you hear stop.
You refuse to date a man, and then you go.
And then you go visit, and you let him touch you to a certain point, and then you hear stop. And the man is confused, like, I've come this far, I can't stop. And then you hear rape happens. So they have people in that space.
I don't seem to agree with that.
People
in that
space. Okay, first of all, that tweet, was it a tweet? I find it very irresponsible and insensitive. Coming from the person that it came from. Because already what you have told people is that they cannot come to you when they find themselves in such a situation, because no matter how it happened or who it happened with, they're supposed to have that confidence to come to the police and report it. So now you're saying to them that, okay, if it happened that I went to someone who I was not dating, I can't come to the police because the police will be like, it's your fault. And that is the problem with rape cases till today in Nigeria.
That's like trivializing this issue.
People are afraid to speak up because you'll be blamed for where you were, what you were, who you're with the color of your skin. This is a particular. See, do not visit a man that you are not dating. Is a particular it should not come from him.
Situation. It's different from the general rape
matter. As much as I understand where Miriam is coming from, being a lawyer, I'd like to help Obiajule a bit. And this is going the African way. We tend to take things with levity. The way I was raised, I won't visit a man.
Simple.
I won't even visit a man who is interested, not to talk of the one I want to date. Don't visit. It's a simple thing. He's not my man, so I'm not even in that circle. And my mom used to say something to me growing up that, don't let your two left leg, because it's your workout, don't let your two left leg get you into trouble. It means just be careful the way you carry yourself. And I want to believe Shogunle was trying to be preventive, rather than be attacking women who are in that fold. In his experience, he must have seen women who, for one reason or the other, say, because what Miriam is saying is it's a kind of debate we have all the time, when exactly to decide when rape happened. So you can bring a prostitute into your house, and at the nick of it, she says no. And no should be no, when the man will be having an issue saying, I couldn't control again, and she had taken me. So those are debates for a separate circle.
That's what I said.
Be preventive. Protect yourself as a woman. These things are out there, they're happening every day. How do you carry yourself so that when you totally have vindicated yourself, you have exhausted you've done everything possible. So a man who kidnaps you, drugs you, those are different issues.
Yes.
You can come out and say no, but you don't need a man on, be in a relationship with him, be in his house, do certain things that we are now debating. Now, this is not talking about your clothes. This is not talking about how you dress. This is not talking about you. This is not talking about you.
No, because you're saying leading on. It doesn't seem like this is about leading on.
We know how to
let me land. Leading on, we know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
A lot of girls will be like, okay, I just wanted to collect something from you. I didn't want to do anything. And at the point when the man has been giving you, and you people are in the talk, you know, like you've taken enough, you just say no. So those are separate debates. You see some men are tired trying to defend themselves with this excuse.
I need to take this call. I need to take this call from Miriam, calling from Ikoyi. Welcome to the show. Go ahead with your contribution,
Good
please.
morning, Veronica.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ima. Good morning, Miriam, and everybody.
Good morning.
Mariam, Allah Miki Albarka.
Among my sister, now go there, Miki.
May God bless you. That's just what I call to say. May God bless you. Allah Miki Albarka.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I need to. Thank you. So the seriousness of what Miriam is saying, we've exhausted that part of the debate.
Yes,
I was shocked to hear Obiajulu go. I expected the two of them to go Miriam's way.
No.
I was willing to do the agent provocateur for Shogunle today, because we see these things happen. I've seen when someone falsely accused a very popular person who has an NGO who helps these girls, falsely accused the man of raping her. And we found out later she was pregnant for her dad, who had asked her, just plant it on someone. We see these things happen. As a young girl, 16, Muslim, Christian, wherever, carry yourself the way you want to be treated. Respect yourself and prevent these kind of things from happening to you.
Beyond the way you carry yourself.
No. Can I give you a scenario? Let's not mix issues here. We're not making excuses for rape.
You are.
No, we're not. No.
He's making excuses for rape.
No, you are misinterpreting him. He's not making excuses. When I read that thing, I saw it because I've had issues very close to me that happened that way. The general rape we know, you have no reason to rape a woman. Whether the person is dressed properly is not your business. Whether the person is covered up is not your business. We know all of those. And like she rightly said, we've exhausted all of those. But we're talking about people who particularly want to lead you on and then get to that. Please say stop.
Can I just finish?
Okay, let's get a man's perspective.
All right. Welcome to the show. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Veronica, and Nima and Miriam. I share your point, especially Nima. What you said is very, very clear. My people will say, if this thing will lead you to trouble, avoid it.
Avoid it.
Why would you go to a man's house and cook food?
And wear his bomb shots.
Don't do the night.
You are now expecting the man to let you go. In the first place...
Oh boy, you ought to let you go. See, that's a mistake. You ought to let you go. You ought to let you go. But no, he's supposed to let you go.
Opportunity to do that. Why would he let...
This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong.
That's your opinion.
Rape is not caused by what you wear.
You're not getting the point.
No, you're not getting the point.
Ladies, hang on. Marian, hang on, please. Ladies, hang on. What happens if the lady did not, agreed not to visit, go, she's not dating him? Okay. You didn't go to his house?
Yes.
Fine.
Like we said, there are different scenarios.
No scenario
is acceptable.
Okay.
That's the thing. That's the conversation we need to have and always have it.
Okay.
If you want to talk about girls going to a person's house that they are not dating, can I just make this point?
Because you can.
Then that's a whole different conversation.
But what he said.
So when we're talking about rape, because he was also talking about, do not have that in the same sentence as rape. Rape is wrong. However it happens, the only reason for rape is a rapist. Yes. So even if you have someone standing naked before you, it does not justify rape. It is wrong. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Let's quickly get let's get another guy's perspective. Okay. Ade is on the line, calling from Ikeja, I believe. Welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, Ade, go ahead.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I do not support what the ACP said because it's totally wrong. And coming from the ACP, I don't think he should make that kind of statement.
Thank you.
I mean, we have male friends, we have female friends. So even though I'm not going to date you, that doesn't mean I can't come and visit you.
What are you looking for?
What the ACP should do, or
Stay in
the
your
police
house.
authorities should put stringent laws.
Really?
Put laws that would curtail these rape cases. I mean, and it goes a long way. Get forensic detectives that, okay, if I get raped, I can get this evidence to the police station and, oh, okay, yes, there's proof. So me going to visit, a female coming to visit a male friend is not an excuse for rape. Whether it's
Of course, thank you.
It's not an excuse for rape.
but
But
yes,
I
yes,
advise young people.
There are people who have
would
refused to date each other and are friends.
I would advise young ladies. Do
Then you're
not
not
lead a
dating.
man on if you are not
God, don't do that,
interested.
please.
If you are not interested in having anything to do with him, do not lead him on. Don't collect his money. Don't eat his. Don't eat his food.
What happens when the lady did not lead him on?
Let's just say.
What if she's not leading
we're
him on?
isolating this issue.
So when you're saying we lead him on, so you're saying that if a girl leads somebody on and she's raped. She deserves it.
No, that's not the point. By then, the rape has occurred.
I
We do
understand this
something,
conversation.
but we should prevent it.
Wait,
There are different places for this sort of conversation. You know, this also reminds me of the story where we see girls beheaded or their body parts taken out. And what do you hear? Girls, be careful. Why is it not the murderer that people are, you know, you should talk to the murderer.
Find them.
Everybody
find
No,
them.
it's not matter of if you can
Wait,
find them.
if you
Girls
can
are
find
lying
them,
down
of
there.
course.
The thing is, we have people who are killing people, who are raping people. These are the bad people. Stop blaming the victim.
Everybody
It's
should
enough.
prevent it.
so
That's where we're
Because
going.
we do
totally
that,
in support
and because
of
we
your
do
side of the
that,
argument.
we don't have the confidence to report when things like that happen.
Preventive is
Hold
what
on,
we're
hold
looking at.
Okay. I've said on this table over the years that a rape victim must try, and you know we should take out the stigma.
Yeah.
What Shogunle is trying to do, in my perspective, in my understanding, is trying to do give a preventive advice, which is what the police did from time to time. Now, very early in my years of activism, I defended a young girl who insisted she was raped. She insisted to death she was raped, and I didn't even want to get the facts of the side of the man. I insisted she was raped at the man's house. So we all stood in her defense, those of us who believe. But the guy kept saying, we're in a relationship, and she knows this is a continuous. It was after several protests that we found out that, yes, they were actually in a relationship, and she used to get paid for this. But we had already staked our life for, you know, that kind of thing for her. In my experience, and I want to believe that is based on his experience and what he's seen.
That's what I believe.
He's giving
too.
a preventive advice to ladies,
Yes.
so that once you have done everything possible, you're
Within your
visiting a
power.
friend innocently, you're not in a relationship with them, you never expected them to rape you. In their house, if they do rape you, stand up, you know, and fight for it.
Yeah.
But don't confuse it and say halfway into it, I said no. I never meant it. I didn't. Some people will say, he seduced me, I never meant it. I've seen those kind of nonsense happen.
seen it.
A lot of times they are confusing.
Just agree to disagree with everybody today.
Whichever way, rape is rape, and
It is.
Rape
men
is rape, yes.
should
And the
hands
reason for
off,
the rape
Yes.
is the rapist.
and
Yes.
the ladies, everybody take caution.
Yes.
That is the long and
Preventive.
short.
Protect
Preventive.
yourself.
Protect yourself.
So angry.
Next, we continue our series on etiquette. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Well, thanks for staying with us. Last week, we discussed work etiquette. So on the show today, we will continue our series as we look at various etiquette, from toilet etiquette, jumping the queue, dressing, eating, and the likes. Joining us on the show is an etiquette expert, Laide Oshikoya. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hello, ladies.
Thank you.
Hello, audience. I'm viewers at home.
All right. Join the conversation on 07080668014 to us at TVC Connect with the hashtag YourViewTVC. Before we get to the tweets, let's quickly feel your pulse on this matter that we were talking about on the hot topic before.
Okay.
You know, we brought you in. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, what I think is, you see, it comes in various facets. What I think the police officer was just trying to do was to give an advice. Rape comes in several facets. So it's not necessarily when you have a lady visiting an ex. It comes in various facets. But what he did was just to give an advice, you know. And I think he was quite right by saying it.
Exactly. He was right.
So, yes, he was.
Let me take to it.
Yes.
He here says, you misunderstand the man totally. Miriam, the police gives these tips all the time. It doesn't even remotely imply you shouldn't go to them. And like BC said, he was addressing a particular segment of rape victims.
Hey, do you realize that this is the same police that usually have married women who go to the police and say they have been raped by their husbands? And what do they tell them? It's a family issue, go and handle it. So that is my problem. We need to be careful.
Quickly,
because we are making that thing invisible.
We need to be
stealing is bad, but as a preventive measure, we lock our cars. We must also emphasize this cautiousness. Then Oluwafemi says, my advice is to take caution and make a security empowerment program for it.
Tunji Alao says, the police officer was talking about prevention, not justifying rape. Will you keep your 1 million naira on the dashboard of your car simply because it's illegal to steal or rob? The rapist may be convicted, but the victim lives with the trauma. Why not prevent it entirely?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's
all right.
I think so too.
Really sad, but then let's come back to our business for today, etiquette.
Right. Yeah.
Why is etiquette necessary?
Well, etiquette could be described as a kind of code of conduct or a conventional decorum expected from all and sundry. And when this is done, it gives a kind of an organized society, an organized system. So it's quite necessary in all facets of our life.
Okay. It seems like I'm going at you, but
we can totally predict you.
Who decides what way the etiquette should evolve and, you know, how they finally settle as the right way to do things? I would particularly make an example of, you know, the table manners of eating with the left hand. How did we arrive there? If I'm left-handed and right-handed, I'm comfortable. What matters is that I don't slush or pull my food or, you know, smell my face while I'm eating. I think that's the proper thing. But some people would insist, particularly at the dinners when we have lot dinners, that, you know, you do all the time. I'm like, I can't be cutting something, you know, just the essence is eat the food and enjoy the food. So it takes away the enjoyment. Who decided how, you know, we should do the table things, put the spoon at the right place, the spoon for soup and all? How did we arrive there? Who decided? How did we start?
Now, the thing is, it's just like most of our other aspects of life. There are norms, you understand, and there are culture. You must have met some culture and you want to adhere to it, and it continues so long as it keeps, you know, it keeps us in a kind of...
It creates difficulty, like I said, because the chopsticks, for instance, the Chinese use it. They still do. They do it perfectly. And that's how they sell their culture. But we come down here, and when we want to sell amala to somebody, we put spork, we put a fork and spoon, we put knife with it. I'll be like, amala lofe general. Just let them wash their hands. That's the way we do it. There's nothing wrong in it, as long as the person is enjoying the food.
Of course.
And is not, of course, disturbing the person on the table with the other person. But those etiquette trainers will insist it is not right. It's not.
No, you know what? For me, for what Nima is saying, sorry, sir.
Yeah.
And then you correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's the etiquette for that kind of eating. You should be able to, if you're using the fork and knife and everything, be able to use it properly if you're doing that. And then if you're using chopsticks, use it properly. That is etiquette. And then if you're going the African way and using your hands, do that properly.
Properly
so
too. You must have washed your hands.
Yeah.
You know, everything must have
been
kind of neat around you. You know.
So let me quickly add that, because I know that the Western world, they try to make everything African as evil and bad. And so we are teaching our children now to adopt their style of eating, their style of dressing, their style of doing things. Don't we get to a point where we design our own etiquette to suit our culture so that even when we are outside the country, they see the way you eat, they know you are a Nigerian. I've never seen an Indian man eating with a spoon till today. Anywhere they go, they eat their food with their hands. Most times I have relations that work with them, they still eat with their hands.
Yes.
So they are proud of their culture. They showcase their culture everywhere. Don't we get to that point that even if I am a big person, I'm outside the country, I'm eating my African food, I can ask for water, wash my hands, and can't we design our etiquette in that manner?
Yeah. I think it's about balancing etiquette and culture.
Yeah, but why not? I mean, if you do ask for it, like I said, that if everything about it, it's neat, why not we can promote our own culture, even outside this show?
Okay, but
Yeah,
why
we
not?
could.
Why not? That's the point.
For me,
No, but again...
Would you promote it? Would you ask someone?
Oh, why
to?
not? I would. Again, perhaps people would think when you are in Rome, you want to be like Romans. But when you're back, when you're back,
they're actually asking us to leave the EU.
yes, but when you're back home, you can do it the way
You want to.
you want
Yes,
it.
it will be very interesting to see, like when we have dinners at the Aso Rock and things like that, and you have people come in from different parts of the world, and then we see them wash their hands and just
eat
dig into
our starch and banga.
It would be nice to see that. Really.
But I think we can begin to promote it. You understand? So long as the whole world could see that there's some air of cleanliness around it.
And then there's the
This is all
general
we
rule,
need to do.
don't make noise, don't chew noisily.
Yeah.
Those are general rules that we apply
That's
across culture.
That's for eating. Now
Right.
we need to move to other areas.
Okay.
Perhaps you give us a list of etiquettes and then tell us how it transforms, because it is said that etiquette transforms. So how maybe jump in the queue, eating like we have said, making use of the toilet, dressing, how does this transform maybe the individual
Walking.
or the society?
Okay, let me start from the toilet. That is one thing I have observed that, it's so disappointing, the way we keep our toilets in Africa generally and in Nigeria. I mean, in a typical public toilet, you go there's no water. The floor is littered. There's no toilet paper. You can't even have the soap to wash your hand when you finish. I mean, how do you feel comfortable using that kind of toilet? And this is what you find all around. So we should begin to imbibe a culture of having clean toilets where there will be water, where there will be tissue papers. Apart
Even
from
when it's provided, you
Yes.
see, I find it annoying when I have to go, and the person that left the toilet didn't leave it the way I would love to use it. So you go in and then you have to first of all start washing. I remember back in the hospital when I was on the bed rest, 6 months, I had all the toilet cleaners and everything I needed to. But in fact, it was totally in charge of cleaning the toilet for my use. And I was supposed to be on bed rest.
And that's a hospital.
There's no way you meet the toilet as good as you'd like to use it.
You can imagine.
So you have to go and start cleaning. So
Now,
we should talk
what
about
I also observe is that most Nigerians don't have that hygienic habit. Like you rightly said, when you use the toilet, you're supposed to clean it for the next person, so that the next person meets it clean. And there are some etiquettes, regarding to toilet, like you don't read in the toilet. You don't.
That's the best place to read for me.
I read.
You don't have to spend so long a time in the toilet.
That's why
Now you don't.
my safe zone.
You don't eat in the toilet,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
I'll take a drink.
Yes. No. Oh no.
Yeah.
No, you
a
can't.
drink and a magazine. I'm
Oh
there
no,
for hours,
no.
man.
No.
How do you do that?
I love it.
Now.
It's comfortable.
They're dirty girl.
Now,
Very dirty.
now, what you find around again is some people will scribble some things on the wall. These are really dirty habits.
Go with their marker.
And a toilet, for instance, need to have an additional tissue so that as soon as one tissue is finished, you can take there's another one to be taken. There must also be a brush so that when you flush and your solid waste is not going, you can use the brush.
So, okay, sir, please.
Yeah.
Let me just go. Let's go back to culture.
Right.
You said a lot of Nigerians seem to have that problem with toilet etiquette.
Right.
Is it a cultural thing that we're not hygienic when it comes to toilet use? Or is it a problem of lack of education? Or is it just, do you understand what I mean? Culturally, are we just not toilet, we don't know how to use the toilet and leave it clean? Or is it because, you know how it is traditionally, we started with the pit latrine and things like that. And I know that people had a way of keeping it clean. But then we've now moved to the Western way of the water system. Could it be that our culture does not understand this way? So that's why we're not neat or we don't have toilet etiquette.
Okay, before you answer that, quickly,
Right.
we need to go on a break. The discussion continues when we return. Just stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still talking etiquette, and before we went on the break, Marian asked a question.
Yeah, back to your question.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's education.
Okay.
Yes, we need to get educated. Yes, we must have our, cultural background relating to, toilet etiquette. But, everything is changing. The world is changing.
Evolving.
So we need to get educated. I mean, for instance, there's so many other things we need to know about toilet etiquette. For men, for instance, if you're using the urinal, you make sure that you get so close to the urinal, you're not too far from it, so that there won't be a spillage, And if there are 4 urinals, for instance, you make sure you go to the extreme one to the right, so that whoever is coming next will just get next to you. And then, again, when you're using the urinal, you concentrate. You concentrate so that there won't be a spillage.
Okay.
Ditto for the WC seat.
Yeah.
You don't spill on the WC. And if you do, you clean it, before the next person comes.
All right, before we move on, Nima, we have Abby calling from Ikeja on the line. Welcome to the show. Go ahead with your contribution.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Everyone. My 2 contributions will start. The first one is to what the police superintendent or whatever said regarding the rape case. I totally agree with the lady to the left and Miriam. I totally agree with what they said. Not with Miriam, sorry, with Alaja. And rape cases, there's that part of set of people who because they will visit some men or put themselves in those shoes that become rape victims. And so it's just like a preventive caution, like caution yourself not to be in that position. And the second one is that, regarding this etiquette, I think the problem, we already have this problem with our culture that we do have, of course, like Miriam said, from the pit latrine now to the Western system of this WC and etc. But luckily for us, in this generation, the younger ones, these little ones in school, are being taught to wash their hands after using the toilet, how to flush, how to do. But my little children at age 4, they know what to do when they go to the toilet without coming in there. So I think institutions, maybe the workspaces, maybe the schools should organize trainings for these parents so that they can learn. Those who don't know it can also learn. So that when they is, because the point that I mostly the adults are misusing these spaces.
All right, Abby. Thank you. Thank you, Abby. Thank you. All right, let's quickly get to the audience. Let's see who has a question to ask. Quickly, who has a question?
Titila is my name.
All right.
On the issue of etiquette, I think as Africans, we are getting distracted by westernization. Because for me, etiquette isn't about education. For example, in this part of the world, to some of us, where I come from, using tissue paper is not etiquette for me. In Saudi Arabia, using tissue paper is being dirty.
Yes.
So in my opinion, I think as Africans, as per all other facets of our lives, we're getting distracted with westernization. So I feel that etiquette is more of breeding, is more of upbringing. It shouldn't be an institutional thing. Using your hand to eat or bowing down to greet somebody in some areas is bad etiquette. In some other places is good etiquette. So first, I think we should stop being white and we should be African. What makes our culture? What makes good etiquette? And what is the yardstick for what is good and what is bad?
Thank you. Beautiful. All right, back to you, Nima.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about jumping queue, so
Jumping the queue.
Jumping the queue. Most Nigerians, we find it, this is one thing that we do here, and I think it's a general thing. Jumping the queue is wrong.
Oh, yes.
In any way you look at it, in any
Absolutely.
culture you look at it.
Absolutely.
So if it is not your turn, you wait your turn. That's how
right.
it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But you see some people will just come and say, I'm a privileged person, or I have a different worldview, or I own, you know, and all those kind of things. Especially during the fuel queue and all that, some people would still just want to try it, or at the ATM, some people always try to do that thing. I don't understand why, and I believe it's wrong.
Yes,
I
think it's an unfortunate thing, you know. In the first case, you have not only indignified yourself, you have also insulted the sensibility of those who are on queue. It's not good. It's not. It's something.
But there are exceptions.
Yes.
Especially when driving.
Oh, no.
Traffic etiquette is the worst.
No, there shouldn't be any exception. I mean, I've always said that rather than for you to jump a queue, if it's just because everybody seems to be in a hurry, you're kind of pressed for time, then leave your home in good time.
Good time. All right.
You know, meant that you had an emergency and you needed cash to do something. Look at the ATM example. Wouldn't it be nice for you to ask permission of the people already on the queue, considering how sensitive?
Well, if they give it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, the other day I was trying to enter a bank, and I was right in front of the door, you know, just waiting for the green light. Before I knew it, this guy jumped in front of me. I didn't say anything. When it was time to go in, when the green light, I said, excuse me, and he felt embarrassed. I mean, you don't need to get to that extent.
Quickly, I want to talk about gratitude.
Right.
We know that there are certain ways that you express gratitude, and
right.
a lot of us do not know how to say thank you. You know, use the they call it the 5 magic words when you're teaching kindergarten. Please, sorry, thank you, pardon, and all of that. How do we get to that point where we imbibe all of those?
Because second nature.
Yes, we hear and we don't practice.
I mean, it's quite unfortunate to let people gestures, you know, left unacknowledged. So, I mean, when there's a gesture, a good one to you, you don't let it just lie low. You have to
acknowledge.
You have to acknowledge it by saying thank you. So the person will be encouraged, and he will want to do it again.
Right.
I mean, this is the way it should be.
Quickly, because we've run out of time, I wanted to talk on employer-employee etiquette, because I'm sure we need to be educated on that aspect. Quickly.
Especially the employer.
No, we're used a lot about employees. The employer.
Well, the employer needs to put those necessary machinery in place to encourage the employees. Okay. I mean, there's this thing that is being said in the management world that, look, let your employee look up to something. Let him feel that at the end of the day, he's also going to benefit, probably monetarily, or he's going to eventually become a partner, you know, and there must be some of these things.
How about the employee, because we're running out of time?
Yes. Well, the employee must ensure that, you know, is loyal to the firm or to the company with which he works. He wouldn't undercut the firm, you know. He would also be civil, have good customer relationship to, you know, clients. These are some of the, you know.
We have run out of time. I would have loved to know what civil meant. But I had a boss.
But there's a particular one I'd like to mention.
Quickly, because it's time up already. We need to move. Okay, just wrap it up quickly.
Right. This relates to, you know, friendship etiquette. You know,
it's time up.
It's time up. Be polite with each other.
Yes.
Because we need to go. We need to go. But we must thank you, Mr. Laide Oshikoya, for coming to share, you know, with us on the show. It's been an interesting one and also enlightening one. Thank you, ladies, for the questions. Miriam, you were on fire.
Oh, God, she was upset.
Well, we must thank our audience for making it through to the studio this morning. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's all we can take on today's show. Don't forget the repeat airs at 11 p.m. See you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.